Is one of the multinational corporation companies and manufactures electronics-related goods such as printed circuit boards and IC packaging. It is a Japanese electronics firm with its headquarters in Hokaki, Gifu Prefecture. Ibiden is a global leader in the communication and electronics industries with the most cutting-edge conductor shaping, lamination and fine wiring technologies available. This business also produces ceramics such as diesel engine parties filters, for which it holds a 50% market share in Europe. Ibiden was established in 1912 to produce electrical power. We can find one Ibiden company, which is Ibiden Electronics Malaysia ST and BHT. It was established on May 28, 2008 and it is 100% owned by Ibiden Co. Ltd. Japan. Besides that, it is a private limited company and has been existed for 14 years. Ibiden Electronics Company is located at number 1049 Jalan Perindustrian Bukit Minyak, Kawasan Perindustrian Bukit Minyak 14100 Simpang 4 Pulau Pinang. That company printed wiring board plant with 45.8 acre facility in Penang Science Park is a mass production plant of PVW for smartphone and table type devices. Electronics business, they focus on plastic packaging, printed circuit boards and related products, while in ceramics field they concentrate on DPF and special carbon products. In every field of endeavor, they take the initiative to pioneer technology innovation while collaborating with other leading global companies. According to the interview session with Human Resource Manager of Ibiden Electronics Malaysia, Sandrian Berhad, company is stated that there were about 1,067 employees working in that organization. The number of local employees is 650, foreigners are about 350, expatriates are very least, which is 3, and there are more than 50 supporters for temporary to backup purpose in case happen any consequence or problem.
Good day everyone. My name is Gong Jo Yen. My metric number is 277,495. Now, I would like to present about problems faced by the MNCs during COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic has led to an economic crisis and affected many multinational companies facing several problems in terms of human resource management function. Firstly, I will present about sourcing HR for global market. Based on the interview sharing session with the HR manager of Ibiden Electronics Malaysia, Sandrian Berhad, the problem faced by the company in terms of sourcing HR for global market during the COVID-19 pandemic is a shortage of manpower, as they cannot rely on the foreign worker because the foreign worker cannot come to Malaysia as the border is closed. So they focus on the local manpower to supply manpower during this pandemic period. In addition, they also face problem with material supply, which is certain chemicals of materials that they use for their production. Due to their material source is mostly from overseas, it is difficult for them to have material source abroad during this challenging time. If there is a material shortage, they will develop other methods and materials to replace the material shortage problem. Next, the second problem we discuss in terms of HR function is international compensation. According to the HR manager of Ibiden Electronics Malaysia, Sandrian Berhad, they have faced issues with the components of international compensation packages during COVID-19, which is knowledge transfer for other branches. This is because their headquarters is in Japan and they have many branches in different countries. They have company branches in the Philippines, Mexico, and Hungary. So it is tough to move around for them to have a knowledge transfer to other company branches. In addition, normally the supporters from the headquarters will come to the site to check and support the technical side. However, the border is closed, so it is hard for them to transfer their knowledge to their local employees. So they do their business continuity plan to solve their problems. They do what they can for the time being, and once the border is open, they will call their foreign employees back to continue the knowledge transfer. Next, I will continue to present the third issue, which is international training and development. As we know from the company report, Ibiden Group intends to adopt a human resource development strategy that will enhance its organizational structure and allow it to achieve long-term success and growth. They provide cross-cultural programs to improve communication skills with overseas staff and strengthen their local response. Based on the interview with HR manager of Ibiden Electronics Malaysia Sendiri Berhad, we know that they train and develop their international employees during the COVID-19 pandemic by having online video training. To ensure their workers will get clearer explanation for them to do and complete their tasks, they have upgraded their infrastructure to do the online video training to show it one by one and the steps on how to do the practical. Lastly, I will present about international labor relations. According to the company report, Ibiden Group has followed common sense and social norms while complying with each country's employment-related regulations, such as the Labor Standards Act and labor regulations, and engage in activities that conform to core labor concepts and rights. They analyze the individual performance fairly and treat personal matters equally. Regarding to the HR manager of Ibiden Electronics Malaysia Sendiri Berhad, the company does not face any problems with the international labor relations during the COVID-19 pandemic. It is because the logistic part of the company is not restricted. They can send some supplies to their expatriate directly from overseas to the specific area in their company branches by post or ship. Furthermore, they have been made up for expatriates to contact their family via WhatsApp and Zoom call during this COVID-19 pandemic. So from this, we can know that Ibiden Electronics Malaysia Sendiri Berhad is a good company. They have better international labor relations as they respect and take care of their employees. That's all for me. Thank you.
Hi, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nuri Izni Beti Banun. It was a pleasure to me to sharing with you guys about the challenge that MNC company are facing in dealing with international HRM practices in our generation during pandemic. So my first point is training and development. During the COVID-19 pandemic, many of the lack of professional stimulation has occurred due to having to work from home. This has fostered more knowledge such as directed to meet and the need to learn, grow, and demonstrate efficiently. With a growing interest in self-learning, the company should actively take advantage of the moment to invest in development of employee skills. At a time when the employee desire to learn, grow, and show increases efficiently, companies that are forced to offer access to the employee provide online training of the employee to achieve a clear victory. This is for them to increase the talent capacity and at the same time cultivate the motivation of the employee. However, this effort is quite stressful for the company managers in controlling because of the pandemic obstacle, which is making them to be forced not to meet face to face. For example, during an interview with an Ibiden electronic company, which is Mr. Azamri, the manager, stated that the training that should have been given to the employee in order to improve his employee knowledge began hampered because of the pandemic. This is because of the barrier that contribute to meeting each other, and they only have to meet each other in online meeting only. So I will proceed with my second point, which is change management. During the pandemic, COVID-19 hit a lot of things that have happened to the company, especially the large company. This is said because the pandemic that caused the physical distancing make the work of the company that required this physical meeting to be irrelevant. This is because during an interview with the Ibiden Electronic Company, which is Mr. Azamri, stated that the pandemic greatly affected his company, which is Ibiden Electronic. This is because of his company is a big company, and his company really require regular physical meeting because his company is manufacturing company. Because of this, the manager had to change the way of management at the company because of the pandemic situation, forced to change it. So I will proceed with my third point, which is communication barrier. In the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, there are many hindering the progress and sustainability of the company. This is said because during the pandemic, many companies took the incentive to close their company, because the pandemic giving them a barrier to meeting, which is meeting between the employee and the manager. Not only that, company that have staff members who are from overseas are facing a big challenges to them. This is because due to the inappropriate distance and obstacle to their meeting. This giving them a big one-two-way communication between the manager and also the employee. This is said because most overseas workers use standard language in their relationship with the manager, but it's also accompanied by a small dialect. This will make misunderstanding to. In addition, it is prevented by physical encounter and only use online tool to communicate. So it's a problem for manager to understand what their employees are saying. For example, during an interview with the company manager Evident Electronic, which is Mr. Azamri, said this pandemic is becoming a problem for the smooth running of their day-to-day forward. Because due to this obvious communication barrier, there is further a result of the restriction that have occurred that they cannot meet face-to-face because of the pandemic COVID-19. So I will proceed with my second part, which is how MNC deal with the issue or challenges to resolve the rising problem. Based on our interview with the human resource manager, which is Mr. Azamri from Evident Electronic Company, stated several ways that company take and use to solve problems that arise in their company. The first thing that we can identify that way the company use in solving this problem is they provide a flexible working hour. This is because during the COVID pandemic, there are many things that need to be taken into the account when it comes to the welfare of the workers. This is because most of the early days, the pandemic hit many workers affected by the pandemic. Therefore, as a good manager, he has rescheduled working hour from home so that his employees feel not burdened from their duty. According to the Mr. Azamri, the provision of the flexible working hour can help some of his employees who have to deal with some quarantine. So the preparation of the rescheduling the working hour can provide some space for them. For the employee to take break from the pandemic. In addition, Mr. Azamri also noted that the Evident Electronic Company has always supported them, which is the employee, to be with them to face all of this.
We clearly know that Evident Electronics Malaysia Sdn took fast action to resolve all the challenges during COVID-19 pandemic. Besides that, anytime unpredictable consequences can occur in an organization, so Evident company should stand by to face any challenges. Always must have an alternative way to overcome that problem. Evident company can implement it and achieve their organization goal when all parties work together and understand their respective roles. With continuous dedicated efforts and willingness to sacrifice all parties in Evident company, it is not impossible to effort meet the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic.